he once said he can never be sick. I'll tell you guys an interesting story if only you can watch till end. It happened in the beginning of this year. But before I tell you, all right, let's analyze this. So this is a comment in a post, all right, and the pastor in that post is a famous Nigerian pastor. He told his members that he can never be sick, and the reason is because of his faith, the miracle Jesus Christ faith in Christ Jesus, that sickness can never be in his body because of his spiritual powers. And truly, people have never heard him sick. Even if he has been sick, how will you know? Pastors go for surgery. There's a famous pastor in Nigeria that his wife went to South Africa for surgery. His wife was very sick. Till today, if you see the woman is very lean, which means that thing is she's still regulating her diet in order not to be sick with that thing. Still, there was a famous pastor that his wife died. People don't just normally die, it's sickness. And I can see the man now. His stomach is so big. The man is unhealthy. I'll talk about, just watch the next video, alright, because I'll talk about this big stomach. People don't know that is a big sign of ill health. So there is no young person in Nigeria, alright, or even the world. Let me say Nigeria or Africa. There is no young black person, alright, that will be sick if they are taking care of themselves. You will not fall sick. Especially if your genotype is AS. The reason our ancestors, especially West Africa, evolved AS is a stronger immunity. Because our primary sickness in West Africa is malaria. Malaria caused by mosquitoes. This is our primary sickness. The environment in West Africa is perfect for human survival. Everything is okay. Mosquito has been our problem. So our ancestors started evolving a different genotype till they came up with AS. The only problem with the AS is that if AS now marry AS, they will born a sick child, which is SS. But if your genotype is AS, you will not even smell hospital for many years. I know a woman that is 60-something years old that said that she has never been to a hospital for anything except childbirth. She has never been to a hospital. She has never been sick. She doesn't know what it looks like to take drugs. Her immunity is that strong. So if somebody is telling you I can never be sick, is Jesus Christ, first of all, ask them their genotype to start with there. Now, if you're AA, like me, I'm AA, I used to fall sick every month, sometimes twice in a month. And what is it? Malaria, typhoid. Malaria, typhoid. My sickness no past this too. And every month I'll be taking drugs until I learned that these drugs are gradually damaging your kidney and liver. You understand? You will get to a certain age, you will start having organ issues. Where is it coming from? You're taking a certain drug every month. What changed my mentality with respect to that malaria is when I traveled abroad the first time, and I stayed 7 months, and I never fell ill of anything. You know the funny thing? My food there, I was leaving it open. If you leave food open in Nigeria, within 3 to 6 hours, it will sour. Do you understand? Bacteria will start acting on it and change the taste, like rice or any of they will change the taste of the food. If you leave it for 3 days, things will start growing on the food. But when I traveled abroad, you can leave food for 3 days, 1 week, it will not spoil. Because the pathogens in the air is different. That was when I learned that, if I fix my environment, this disease will go. So first of all, immediately I came back to Nigeria, I made sure I don't have open windows, open doors. I put net everywhere. Then I installed ACs to make sure that the house is always cool. I make sure I have gen all the time and everything. The moment I did this, my brother, mosquito bite. And then when I went back to traditional medicine, I started taking their herbs you take every month, you will never be sick. Our ancestors put this thing in soups and the traditional religious rituals. These herbs, during this ritual, they drink it every time. They say that it's a new moon. When there's a new moon, there's some cultural practices. When I started actually looking into it again, I now started seeing that these are medications you take every month. Some you take once a year. You will never fall sick. Some of them will handle your blood sugar. Some of them will handle malaria, some typhoid. Most people that don't know that do you know that your body is constantly contracting diseases? Do you know? Do you know that most food you eat, like in Africa, if you're going to work, you just stop by the roadside, you buy rice, buy this, but you eat it by the roadside. The woman, do you know where she got the water she used to cook? Most of these ulcer people are suffering. Do you know it's from such food? Because the water they use to cook it is coming from the stream. Some of them from the gutter. We have seen it. We have seen it on the internet where people are videoing all these people selling fruits. You understand? Fruit sellers. Overnight, in order for the fruit not to spoil, they soak it inside gutter. You know, gutter with flowing water, they will soak it inside gutter. In the morning time, they will bring it out and use another water to wash it and sell. Water from that gutter, where is it coming from? If you trace up, you will see people defecating on that water upstream. So the way to contract also is to get it from somebody that already has it through their feet. You get what I'm saying? Now, people are ingesting these things. We are eating it every day. There's no way you can avoid all these things. But your immunity is strong that you can take it. Some of them will end up, your stomach acid will destroy them. That's why sometimes it's dangerous to take antacid and all these things. Some people that have ulcer, they are forced to take it. But sometimes taking it too much will neutralize your stomach acid. And some of these bacteria that are supposed to die there will survive and get through your system. So, but imagine a rich young man like that pastor, that everything is okay. He has his own cook, he has his own this, he has his own nutritionist. Do you understand? All these pastors, they have family doctors. Everything he's doing is well prepared, well studied. How is he going to fall sick? Where is mosquito going to see that pastor now and bite him? He has his own skincare routine. If you see this pastor with his hair, his coily, everything, you're telling me he can't be sick until he gets to, let's say, 60, 70. That's when you start seeing sickness. And the sickness you're going to see is probably some high blood pressure or some prostate issues. That's what you're going to see at that stage. That you know that you can't tell that he has it just by looking at it. Or some diabetes. Anybody that's eating well, you're taking your normal herbs or doing your exercise, you hardly ever fall sick. That's why I commend that pastor. There's a pastor in Nigeria that came out and said that he went for prostate surgery. I'm not saying I don't think he said prostate surgery. Yeah, I think it's prostate also. He said cancer. He had cancer. He went to US and they treated him and he came back and survived it. So he gave it as a testimony. And I was commending him saying that it's only people that are smart know why he's saying that, because probably some other people in the church will have it and they're hoping on faith. Pastor is indirectly telling them that you have to be realistic, you know. Going to see the doctor is not wrong. Me as a pastor, as your pastor, I've gone to see a doctor. That's why he gave that testimony. So at the end of the day, people boasting to you that they have never been sick doesn't mean anything. Do you know that if you are eating African traditional foods, like your local delicacies in your town, the local delicacies, if you are eating it, you will almost never fall sick. In the past, in Africa, our people don't live by the river. You hardly find a town in Africa that is by the river. The people that live by the river are people in Europe and Asia. In Africa, our people will move away from the river. Some will move up the mountain. Some will move to the valley, but they will stay away from the river. So now when they want water, they will go to the river to fetch water. Haven't you watched all these Nollywood movies where a lady is going to the river to fetch water and say, why is she going to the river? Why do they stay away from the river? So that the river can be clean. Because if they're living close to it, people will be defecating in the river. Our ancestors were smart. So some of these ulcer people are battling now. It wasn't there before. Many of the diseases we are getting from bad environment. Do you know that some of these fumes, people are going to work every day. They will be in the bus. You are breathing. You know, I'm a herbalist. I'm not a medical doctor. So some people sometimes reach out to me for suggestions on herbs that can help with their diseases. One of the first things I tell them is, if you know any food that your grandfather will not eat, don't eat it. Do you understand? Your grandfather easily clock 120, 140, or your grandmother. Any food that they will not eat, don't eat it. Any cream they will not apply on their body, don't apply it. Do you know that if you fix your food, your feeding, and what you apply on your body, for 6 months, your body will revitalize itself and heal itself. Your body knows how to heal. The only problem is that you are still causing the problem. Some people, the disease they are suffering today is drugs they have taken to cure another disease.